Hello and welcome to the Yoga NoHo Center. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Sushanna Jordan and we'll be practicing a healthy hatha flow to open our hearts and center our minds. So to begin today, we can start on our backs. So go ahead and make your way down onto your back. And we can either bring the feet to floor, knees to sky, or bring the feet together with the knees wide, bound angle. Or maybe even just legs straight out on the floor in Shavasana. We'll find a comfortable position on our backs, and this is so we can start to ground down. So instantly starting to invite in the breath now into the body. Let's create a single pointed focus with our fingers. We'll bring our first finger and thumb together. And we'll take a few deep breaths. So starting with the lower belly, we'll just empty the breath out. And then coming into the belly, deep inhale. We'll bring it up into the chest, all the way up into the heart. Let the collarbones spread. Maybe holding at the top there for a moment. Let the energy build up. When we're ready, we'll exhale at the mouth and soften a little bit deeper into our bodies. So we'll do that 3 more times. Deep breath from the lower belly when we're ready. Taking it all the way up into the chest, the heart, let the collarbones spread and open. Maybe holding at the top, gazing up to the third eye. When we're ready to let go, exhaling out the mouth. 2 more times at your own pace. Take your time from the lower belly, chest, upper chest, all the way up to the top. Maybe holding there for a moment, feeling the energy rising, and then just letting go. Softening even deeper into ourselves. 1 more deep breath here. Chest, upper chest, let the collarbones spread and open. Feel the heart opening. When we're ready to let go, exhale out the mouth. So let's bring our hands to body now. We can just feel ourselves breathing. Maybe placing one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Feeling our heart beating, feeling the clothes on our skin. We'll take a moment to tune in with ourselves. Feeling our heart beating. And maybe setting an intention for our practice now. Perhaps asking our body, what do I need today? Perhaps more breath, more love, more awareness. So just bringing in whatever we need now into our bodies, into our breath, and into our practice. And keeping that breath with us, keeping that intention with us. We'll take a deep stretch overhead. So stretching up, big stretch overhead, waking up the body. Exhale, bring the knees to chest, and we'll give ourselves a big squeeze. Bringing one knee in at a time. We'll bring both knees in, now hugging in. So we'll lengthen the back of the spine. Maybe a couple of rolls here on the spine. Just bringing both knees in, hugging them tight. And we'll do a couple circles. Maybe 4 circles going one way. Breathing into the low back, tuning in with our foundation. We'll switch over to the other way. If we haven't already, about 4 times, circling the knees around. And then we'll come into a twist. We'll let the knees drop over to the right, hands come into a cactus or a T, and we'll look over to the left, the opposite of our legs. So legs going right, looking left. And we'll take a few deep breaths into that left side of the body. Every exhale, just letting go a little bit more, letting that left shoulder come down towards the floor. Maybe using our hand to weight our knees down. Let's do 1 more deep breath on this side. All the way up to the top, deep breath. And then using that exhale to go a little bit deeper in that twist. Awesome. On the inhale, we'll start to come back up through the center and then we can switch it over to the other side. Perhaps we need to shift our hips if we need. But same work, we're shifting the knees over now to the left, looking over to the right, so the opposite of our legs. Full spinal twist from the sacrum to the cranium. And we'll start those long breaths again up that right side, same work. Using that breath to twist us even deeper. Opening now that right shoulder towards the floor. Maybe letting that right hip drop down and away from the body. We'll do 2 more deep breaths on this side. So just let the breath work for you. Using that exhale to twist as you go a little bit deeper. 1 more deep breath. Use that exhale, let it soften you into that twist. Can you let go a little bit more here? And then on the inhale, we'll start to come back to the center. We'll come into a happy baby. So we can grab behind the legs, ankle, or outside of the feet, and we'll start to draw the knees down towards the floor. We can start to draw the tailbone long once more down towards the floor, feeling the space in the low back, and maybe rocking side to side if you like. We can just kind of play here on our backs. Maybe feeling gratitude for our foundation, our feet, ankles, knees, hips. Maybe straightening one leg and bending the other, just kind of playing a little bit here, getting us, our foundation, active. 1 more deep breath here into the hips. Maybe using that exhale to let go a little bit more. Bringing the knees back to the chest, we'll give ourselves a squeeze. And then we can start to rock and roll head to spine, or maybe coming onto our side. We'll just find the easiest, sweetest way to come to sit now. If we have a blanket handy, you can grab onto that. Take your time. We'll find our easy pose, Sukhasana. And we'll get started in our upper body stretches. So in our easy pose, we'll find our sit bones. We'll lengthen up through the crown of the head, opening the heart. Once again, inviting in that breath into the heart. There's a silver cord guiding you up into the clouds. All right, coming to sit, finding our easy pose. Bringing our hands first to the knees. We'll just allow ourselves to ground down. Allowing ourselves to feel centered. Sensing ourselves in the room. Maybe even listening to the sounds around us. We can start to drop back behind the sounds and become a witness to this moment, to our unfolding, to our true selves. Getting into our upper body, we'll start by reaching the hands up overhead. So stretching through the fingers, big stretch up. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart, grounding down. 2 more times with the breath, lifting, reaching, gathering our energy, and we'll bring it back here. 1 more big stretch, reach. Gather all your power and bring it back to you now. And then we'll get into a side stretch. First, with our right hand overhead, we'll bring the left hand out, big stretch. Using that exhale to go down. Let that pinky fingertip guide you over. 2 more big breaths, maybe twisting, lifting on the inhale, lengthening. Using that exhale to let go a little bit more. 1 more big breath on this side. Use that breath, go down a little bit deeper. And then we'll come on over to the other side. Using that exhale, same work. Pinky fingertip is guiding you over. Now twist the heart to the sky, lengthen a little bit more, and use the breath to release. Opening up that sideways, 1 more deep breath. And then let's bring both hands up overhead. We'll work on our straight arms, flattening the hands on the ceiling like we're going to do a handstand on the ceiling. Now let the shoulders drop down away from the ears. Straighten the arms as best as you can and start pressing into the ceiling. Find your rib cage, draw it in. Root down through the sit bones. So we're really imagining ourselves in that handstand on the ceiling. And then we'll parallel our hands, exhale to the heart. Bringing our feet together in our bound angle pose. Once more into our hips and foundation. We'll start to bring the spine forward and long. Can start to fold forward now. So maybe keeping that long spine you've been working on. Feel free to drop the head if you'd like. And just add a little extra neck stretch there. Noticing the heart. Can you soften the heart a little bit here? 2 more deep breaths into the hips, into the feet. Once again, maybe inviting in gratitude into the foundation, into the heart. 1 more deep breath into the spine. Let it lengthen. Let it grow tall. Exhale to release a little bit more into that forward fold. And then let's come on up. We'll bring the hands to knees and we'll come onto our hands and knees. So if you need a blanket to pad our knees, we can grab onto that. But once we get there, we'll bring the wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And we'll find our long spine energy through the crown of the head, through the sit bones, and we can get into our cat-cows. So taking our time on the inhale, we can start to arch, open the heart, let the collarbones spread. Exhales to round. And we can just sink in with our own breath. So we can go as fast or as slow as we'd like. Inhales to open and arch. Exhales to round. Pull the navel in as you round. Just noticing the energy in our spine. 1 more round of breath. You don't forget to really pull those collarbones wide on that last arch. Away from each other. And then we'll come back to center, all fours, tabletop. And we'll get into our core. Right arm, left leg extends out. So we're pressing through our back heel, reaching through our front arm. And we'll find our lower core, hug it in. And we'll round 5 times, elbow to knee. Communicating particularly with that left side of the core. Inhale to reach. Exhale to round. And I recommend going nice and slow with these so you can really communicate with your core. Nice. So like how Guy's holding on to the knee, adding a little extra crunch there. Holding at the top as you round, as you draw that navel in. 4 or 5 times. Let's do 2 more. Last one. And then we'll come back to center. Releasing back to all fours for the other side. Right arm, left leg. Left arm, right leg. Pressing through the back heel, reaching through that front arm. Find the low core, draw it in. And then rounding. Use an exhale to round, inhale to lengthen. Just finding our own pace, really holding at the top, communicating it particularly with that right side of the core. Beautiful, guys. I love how you're really holding on that crunch. And we're still syncing that movement with the breath, right? Inhale to lengthen, exhale to crunch 1 or 2 more times. Beautiful. All right. And then we'll float it on down. We'll come back to all fours, tucking the toes. We'll start to lift the knees up off the mat. Just a couple inches. Drawing the navel in, pressing into the hands. Exhale, nice and slow. Drop it down. We'll do that just 1 more time, lifting the knees up, drawing the navel in. And then sitting the sit bones up and downward dog. So finding the arms, hugging those outer arms towards each other, straightening the arms, relaxing the shoulders. We'll bend the knees nice and deep and send the sit bones even higher towards the sky. Straightening 1 leg at a time. Right leg, 3-legged dog. Let's crunch it to the chin. We'll do that 3 times. On the inhale, we'll come back into 3-legged dog. Exhale to crunch. And on that 3rd crunch, we'll go ahead and step all the way through to that right thigh. We're coming into a low lunge, dropping the back knee. So if you need to grab onto our blocks, we can grab onto our blocks here. And let's take our time really sinking into that front hip. We'll notice our alignment. So we're trying to find a 90-degree angle, lengthening through that inner thigh, pulling back on that right hip crease. Now let's go and bring that back knee in just a little bit more. We'll find 90-degree angle and both of our legs will come on up. Drawing the tailbone down, almost like we're tucking under. We'll start to feel that left psoas muscle stretching. Let's come on up, reach up into a little back bend here, grabbing onto our left hand. We'll shift over to the right, getting even deeper in that side waist. So lifting up. One more time, exhale, opening towards the right, towards that front leg. Back to center. Exhale, hands to mats. We can add in a flow here. So stepping back into plank, lowering the knees down, we'll come into cobra all the way down. Pressing into the feet, bringing the hands to the rib cage on the inhale, extend forward. Pull the heart open, exhale. Tucking the toes, downward dog, up and back. And we'll get ready for the other side. So right leg reaches up. We're stepping through, or we're crunching 3 times to the chin. Keeping our hands strong, using that exhale to crunch. And on that 3rd time, we're stepping through to that left thumb. Same work, half lunge, dropping the back knee. That's right, maybe grabbing a blanket if we need to pad our knee there. And we'll just take a moment, we'll just talk with that left hip and just see how's it going today. Noticing our alignment, are we in that 90-degree angle? Yeah, just that foot up a little bit. Breathing. And then we'll start to bring that back knee up. We'll find 90-degree angle in both of our legs and we'll come to stand, or come on up. We'll come into our back bend, reaching, drawing the tailbone down and under. So we're finding that right psoas muscle stretching. You guys feel that a little bit in the front? Reaching up, grabbing onto our right. We're shifting over to the left now. With our breath, lifting back to center, big stretch. We'll do that one more time to the left, reaching up and over. Back to center. Exhale, hands to mat. Adding in a flow, going back to that plank. And back to that cobra, exhale. Inhale to open, press into the tops of the feet. That's our anchor there, exhale. Downward dog. Breathing, 3 breaths. Taking a look up to our hands. We'll walk it up 1 foot at a time. Feet hips width. Maybe even wider than you're used to. Bring those feet nice and wide. We'll bend the knees nice and deep, grabbing onto the elbows, shift side to side. Let the spine extend long, maybe shaking out the neck. Releasing the elbows. Let's come into our halfway lifts. On the inhale, flat back, extending forward, so we're straightening the legs. Hands can come to knees or shins or fingertips to floor. Exhale. To release. So 2 more times from the core, we're lifting halfway, extending the spine long. Tabletop, exhale. 1 more time from the core, halfway. Let's add a little extra challenge here. Let's extend those arms forward here. So we'll keep our halfway lift, extending forward. And then we'll come all the way up to stand. Exhale to the heart. We'll find our mountain pose. Let's bring our big toe mounds together today, firming the thighs, tailbone long, tuning back in to our heart, to our breath, to our intention. So we'll find all 4 corners of the feet. I like to kind of shift front and back so we can find that equilibrium right in the center, in the middle of the arches of the feet. Now once again, engage the legs, firm the thighs, lift the kneecaps, draw the tailbone long. We'll turn the palms out to the sides, opening the heart now. So feeling that heart opening. We'll turn the palms in towards the thighs, and we'll root the fingertips down. So allowing ourselves to ground, imagining ourselves as a mountain. This is the base of all of our poses, all of our standing poses. So remembering this in our body. As we turn the palms out, we'll start to reach up. Inhale. Exhale, dive down, forward fold, bend the knees. Halfway lift on the inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. And then we'll sweep it up to stand all the way up. Half sun salutation, exhale to the heart. And we'll do that 2 more times with our own breath. So on the inhales, we open. Exhales, we close. And we'll just follow the flow. Halfway lift on the inhale, extending long. Exhale to bend. Rooting to rise, reach it up. All the way, firm the thighs. Exhale to the heart, mountain pose. 1 more, half sun salutation. Following the breath. Inhale to lift. Exhale to close. All the way up to stand, sweep it up. Back home to the heart. Namaste. All right, let's get into a full flow here. So starting at the front of our mats. Once more, maybe setting that intention for our practice, for our flow. Inviting ourselves to center. And then inhale, reach it up, look up. Upward hands. Exhale, dive down, forward fold. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, bending, this time planting the hands. We're going through a flow. So plank it out, maybe chaturanga. We could always drop the knees. Cobra or up dog. So pressing the hands back, opening the heart, pressing the feet, either way. Exhale. All the way up and back, picking up through the knees, downward dog. Right leg reaches up. We're stepping through to that right thumb, coming into a high lunge this time, take your time. So back heel's off, back thigh is firm. We're finding our mountain pose in our back leg, sinking that front hip. And breathing, lifting our torso up, grounding our tailbone down. Let's actually bring our hands to hips for a moment and bend that back knee. Same work like our half lunge. Let's draw that tailbone long and down, stacking our shoulders over our hips. And then once more, reaching up, maybe straightening that back leg. Hands to heart. We'll start to twist the heart towards the right side, towards that front leg, yeah. And maybe opening now. You can feel free to hook if you'd like. Add a little extra twist there. Left hand comes down. Rolling that bottom shoulder underneath you. You can always grab onto a block here if you'd like. Reaching with that top finger. Can you sink a little bit deeper in that right hip? Yeah, you can always drop the back knee here too. 2 more breaths. Opening the heart to the sky. Can you soften your heart? Can you lengthen your spine a little bit more? And then bringing that top arm down. We can add in a flow here, or we can always go straight to dog. So adding in that flow, if you want a little extra heat, cobra or up dog on the inhale, or maybe just going straight to dog. We'll meet there. For the other side, when we're ready, left leg reaches up. We're stepping through to that left thumb. Inhale, come on up, high lunge. Sinking that front hip. Let's perfect this pose. Hands on hips. Bending that back knee, we'll draw the tailbone long. Stack the shoulders over the hips. And then reach up once more. Maybe pressing through that back heel, re-straightening that back leg. And then hands to heart. Twisting the heart to the left. And maybe opening those hands now. Big twist. Beautiful, guys. Maybe sink a little bit lower in that front hip. Then I'll drop that right hand. Twisting. We'll take a few breaths here. We can always grab onto a block if we need. Maybe sinking that front hip. Maybe using that exhale to twist the heart to the sky a little bit more. You can always drop that back knee if we need for support. 1 more deep breath here. Using that exhale to twist. We're going to release that top arm down. And we'll add in a flow if we feel like it. Chaturanga, exhale. Cobra up dog, inhale. We'll meet in dog. All the way up and back. 3 breaths. Feeling the breath moving freely in the body. Feeling our hands grounded and strong. So we're not just on our wrists here, we're on our palms. We're on our fingertips, so maybe gripping the fingertips. Our hands are active. Taking a look up to our hands. Let's walk it, or we can hop it to the front of the mat. Exhale. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale. Bending the knees, we'll root to rise. Come on up. Exhale to the heart. Do that one more time. Inhale, reaching. Following the breath. Exhale, diving down, forward fold. Halfway lift on the inhale. Shine the heart forward. Exhale, planting the hands, going through a flow. So chaturanga, maybe dropping the knees there if we need for support. And remember, we're thinking mountain pose in all of our poses. So keeping the heart open on that inhale, exhale, downward dog. Thighs are firm, sit bones pressing back. And then right leg reaches up. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, stepping through, high lunge, back heels off. Hips are squared towards the front of the room. Nice, firming that back thigh and reaching up. For 2 breaths. Keep reaching, maybe drawing that tailbone long. We'll add a back bend, opening the heart, cactus arms. Soften the heart. And then adding in that flow, or not. You can keep that left leg lifted if you'd like, as you step back. And then we'll come on over to the other side. Ready? Stepping through with that left leg. Back heels off, back thighs firm, right? Hips are squaring towards the front of the room. 3 breaths in our high lunge. Perfecting the pose, opening the heart, firming the back thigh, tailbone long. 1 more deep breath. Using that exhale to soften and open all the way down to the mat. Maybe keeping that left leg lifted if you'd like. For a flow or straight to dog. Meeting in dog. Maybe pedaling our feet. Just feeling comfortable here. Resting. Let's bend our knees a little bit deeper now, guys. Bend those knees, send those hip bones high. We'll take a look to our hands. And we'll all take a hop up to our hands. Inhale halfway, extend long. Exhale, bend, and then we're rooting to rise all the way up. Back home to the heart. Mountain pose. So once again, finding our center. Finding ourselves rooting down. Our heart opening, our heart beating. Energy through the crown of the head. And keeping this stillness, keeping this oneness with us as we come into our chair pose. So setting up our foundation first, you can keep the feet or bring the feet hips width. We're gonna start to sit back in our chair. On the inhale, there's a chair right there. We're gonna go sit on it. So our weight's in the back of the heels. We can even lift our toes here for a moment and feel that the weight's really in the back of the body. Dropping the toes if we've lifted them. Let's bring the hands to heart and we'll do a few pulses. So we'll start to invite the energy up through the feet, through the inner thighs, to the hips, into the heart, out the fingertips. So we're just letting this energy now flow through us, opening up our energy channels, inviting in more life, more love into our life. We'll come into our twist. So now our right elbow coming across to that left knee. Inhale to extend long. Exhale to twist. So we have 2 more breaths here twisting. Use an inhale to lengthen. Ski's doing a nice variation. If you want to extend those arms, you can do that. One more big breath. Using that exhale to twist even deeper, heart to sky. Wringing ourselves out. We'll come back to our chair. Inhale. For the other side when we're ready. Left elbow, right knee, same work. Lift, lengthen through the crown of the head. Twist the heart to the sky. Maybe extending those arms if you want to go a little bit deeper. And we'll use our breath. Exhale, twist that heart, wringing ourselves out. One more deep breath. Use that exhale to twist. And then we'll come back to our chair, sitting back, gathering all that energy up. We'll come back to our mountain pose. Coming into our sun salutation B, resetting at the front of our mat. Either feet together or feet hips width. We'll start to sit back in our chair. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward over bent legs. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, planting the hands. We're going through our flow. Plank it out. Exhale, chaturanga. Maybe dropping those knees so you can really feel the core. Inhale, cobra, up dog, open. Exhale, downward dog. Right leg reaches up. Stepping through to that right thumb. This time we're spinning the back heel down. We're coming into our warrior one. Sinking that front hip, same work. Now we're firming that back thigh to the bone. That's our mountain pose. That's our anchor. Can you sink a little bit lower? So we're sinking the same thing. We're squaring those hips towards the front of the room. They're not gonna quite get there, but that's the idea. It's a neutral pose in the hips. And then let's go ahead and add in that back bend, opening the heart. Hands to mat, through a flow, or not. So there's always a choice. Maybe going into that dog, we're adding in a flow. And when we're ready, left leg on the inhale reaches up. Take your time, stepping through, spinning that back heel down, firm that back thigh, dig into the back edge of the back foot. Nice, squaring those hips forward towards the front of the room. Sinking the front hip, lots of things going on here. Keep that back thigh firm as you lift up. Now, can you engage your rib cage slightly in? Beautiful. One more deep breath. Maybe sinking a little bit lower, maybe lifting a little bit higher, and using that back bend, open the heart, soften. Exhale. Straight to dog, or not. Maybe adding in that flow, adding a little extra heat. Chaturanga, cobra, up dog. So in our up dogs, our legs are floating off the mat. Back to downward dog, 3 breaths. Maybe pedaling the feet and just noticing. Noticing what's there. Noticing the breath and the body. And then looking up to our hands. We can walk it or hop it. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale to bend. This time we're sitting back in that chair. To the heart, mountain pose. One more sun salutation, B on the inhale. Lifting, reaching. Exhale, sinking back in that chair. And folding forward over bent legs. Halfway lift on the inhale, extend. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping back. Through a flow, chaturanga. Maybe drop those knees because you really want to feel that core drawing in. Exhale, downward dog. On the inhale, right leg reaches up. Stepping through to our warrior one. Spin the back heel down. And reach up. So we're adding a little extra heart opening here. So right arm comes underneath. We're coming into our Gardasana, eagle arms. So you can bring our back of palms or palms together. And we'll start to dive down. So on the inhale, scoop under. Exhale, back bend. 2 more times, scooping. Undulating, exhale. 1 more time, inhale, scoop it under. Exhale, release. It's going to release that bind all the way up to the top. Maybe bringing the palms together through the heart to the floor, adding in that flow or not. Still with our breath, right? Inhale to open, exhale, meet in dog. For the other side, when we're ready, left leg on the inhale reaches, stepping through to that left thumb. Nice, spinning the back heel down, same work. Sinking that front hip, squaring the hips towards the front of the room. Beautiful. And we'll find that Gardasana, this time left arm underneath. Back of palms or palms together, we'll start to dive. Inhale. Dive. Exhale. Release. Back bend 2 more times. Opening our hearts. Using that breath 1 more time. Diving down. And it's going to release all the way up to the top. Maybe bringing those palms together through the heart. Back home to the earth. Adding in a little extra heat or maybe downward dog. You can always go to child's pose too. That's level 4. So child's pose is always available to us. Downward dog for 3 breaths or child's pose. Feeling the freedom. And then taking a look up to our hands. You can walk it or hop it to that forward fold. Exhale. Inhale halfway. Exhale, bending, sitting back in that chair. Hands to heart. Mountain pose. 3 breaths. Feeling ourselves rooted. Maybe allowing the heart to open just a little bit more now. Extending through the back of the neck, through the crown of the head into the sky. So we are connected, we are supported. We are in this together. We'll get into our balancing poses. Start with our tree pose. Extending our right leg out. We'll turn our foot out. We'll bring that foot to our ankle. Just to get our base here. Firming this thigh, finding a point, single pointed focus, something that won't move in front of us. Then perhaps as we feel stable, bringing that foot to the inner calf or the inner thigh. So wherever we're at, we're keeping that knee pressing out. This is external rotation. We're firming that standing leg. Let's reach our branches up to the sky. Big stretch. And we'll blow in the wind. We'll play a little bit. Maybe we'll fall over. We'll just test ourselves. Side to side. Having a little fun. The mat's there to catch us if we fall. We'll come back to center. Keep hugging that foot towards that standing leg. Exhale to the heart. So we're hugging our midline. So we have this seal. 1 more time, reaching up. And to the heart. Building our foundation. All right, let's go ahead and release. Maybe extending that leg first, shake it out. We'll come on over to the other side. When we're ready, left leg extends out, turning that foot out. And then firming that standing leg. We're finding that mountain pose in that standing leg. Beautiful. And then foot comes to the calf, maybe, or the ankle. Maybe we'll stay here. Keeping that knee pressing out. If we're feeling stable or want a little extra challenge today, bringing the foot to the inner calf or inner thigh. And then on the inhale, reaching our branches up to the sun. Finding that drishti point, that single pointed focus. Can you feel your core drawing in? Can you feel the sun on your leaves? Maybe we'll blow in the wind. We'll have a little fun challenge ourselves. Just, blow in the wind. We'll come back to center. Hands to heart, grounding down. So we're building our foundation, our ankle. 1 more time, reaching up. Exhale to the heart. Namaste. Beautiful. Now releasing that balance. We'll shake it out. And we'll come into a wide forward fold. So have you guys maybe facing each other? Yeah. So we'll come into our wide forward fold, extend long. Let's go ahead and grab onto our elbows and maybe shake out our neck here. We can shift side to side, feeling the inner thighs. And releasing the elbows, we'll bring the hands to floor and we'll come into our halfway lifts. On the inhale, flat back, extending forward, fingertips to floor. Exhale, elbows out. 2 more times, extending forward from the core, spine long. Elbows out to the side. 1 more time, halfway. Exhale, release. So this time, maybe grabbing onto a block, we're placing our right hand in the center, just in front of our face on the floor. And then we'll start to reach our right arm up overhead, big twist. So we're rolling that bottom shoulder in underneath us, reaching that top finger up towards the sky. Using that exhale to twist. 1 more deep breath here, maybe extending the spine longer, maybe twisting the heart a little bit more towards the sky. Pull back on that opposite hip. So that left hip's pulling back. Exhale. To the other side. Left hand in the center, right hand up overhead. Open the heart, let the shoulder blades come down and back. 2 more breaths. Softening, opening, and allowing. Maybe pulling back on that opposite hip, trying to square our hips here, forward. 1 more deep breath. And we'll come back to center. And roll it up nice and slow. 1 vertebrae at a time. Coming into our final standing pose, we'll turn the toes out and come into our goddess squat. Hands to heart, bending the knees out. So nice wide squat. Might even need to make the feet wider, but let the knees come out towards the toes. So they might like to fall in. Try and lengthen those inner thighs long. And we're thinking the same thing, shoulders over hips, maybe drawing that tailbone down underneath you, feeling ourselves really grounded here. And we'll just do a couple pulses. Same work. We're clearing out that energy, inviting it up through the arches of the feet, into the inner thighs, the hips, into the heart, out the fingertips. Just feeling that heart beating. We'll bring the hands to knees, coming into our twists. We'll let our left shoulder drop in. Lifting, lengthening, using an exhale to twist a little bit deeper. Same side. And we'll switch over to the other way. Other shoulder drops in. 1 big breath on this side. Letting the heart soften, opening the shoulder blades. We've got 1 more time each side. Same work. So other shoulder drops in. Even deeper now using that breath. 1 more big breath. On this side, let it soften and twist. Back through center. 1 more time on the other side. So twist in the upper body, looking behind us. 1 more deep breath. Ring open the heart. And then we'll come back to center. Hands to heart. It's going to release that wide squat, little toe, heel, toe. And we'll come into our frog squat. So keeping the toes out, we'll come into our frog squat. So we have a couple different options here. We can come onto our heels. We can always grab onto a blanket to bring under our heels, sit on a block. If it's available, coming down onto our heels, bring the hands to heart, elbows to knees. And we'll activate the inner thighs. So we'll start to press the knees into the elbows, elbows into knees. And we'll let our spine grow long. So same work here, opening the heart, energy through the crown of the head, through the sit bones. Always working on that tall spine and open heart. One more deep breath here. Can you soften the heart just a little bit more? And then come on down to sit. You guys can face me sitting down. You can straighten the legs and just give them a little shake out after all that leg work, standing work. It's also nice to give them a nice little tap too. So give them a little tap. Thank you, legs. Send them some love. And we'll come into our boat pose when we're ready. Picking up behind the knees, we'll find the sit bones. And we'll find our tall spine. Energy rooting down, energy reaching up, heart open. And then we'll come onto our toes. We'll pick up one leg and see how's it doing today. So we're feeling that lower core picking up our leg. We'll try the other side. And then we're ready for that balance. Both legs come up. Hugging the knees towards each other, lifting through the heart. Beautiful, guys. So we can keep the hands behind the knees, supporting if you want to add a little extra challenge today, need a little extra fire, releasing the legs or even straightening the legs. That's an option. We'll hold. We're at 5, 6 more breaths. And as we start to feel the low back, go and lower the toes. That's also an option. This is the same work, keeping that spine long, keeping the core in. About 2 or 3 more breaths now. Listening to our bodies and communicating with that lower core. This is what supports our back. This is what supports our foundation. One more deep breath. Maybe lengthening a little bit more. And nice and slow, we'll start to drop it down. All right, one more little drill here in our boat pose. We'll come once more to our balance. Or for this next one, feel free to keep the toes down. I'm gonna keep my toes down for this next one. We're gonna row our boat. So we'll bring our hands to heart and we'll start to row side to side. And this is just gonna get into our side core. And the knees kind of like to splay out here. So keep those knees hugging in, hug the midline. That's gonna give you a nice line up the center of your core. And we're doing this about 10 to 12 times, rowing our boat, even slower, maybe even resisting yourself here. We'll do about 5, 6 more times. Nice and slow. Keep those knees drawing in. Woo! Feeling good. Rowing down the stream, not holding on to the sides, just going with the flow. And then coming back to center. We'll come on to our backs for a moment. So if you want to have a little fun, we can rock and roll on our spine like we did when we were kids. Maybe letting the feet come up overhead. And we'll come on to our backs, bringing our knees to chest. Where we began. So tuning in once more with that foundation. We can do a couple circles. Breathing into the low back, going one way and the other. And we'll get into our back bends. So bringing the feet to floor, knees to sky. Bring the hands by the hips, maybe even grabbing onto the sides of the mat if we'd like. On the inhale, we'll start to lift the hips up, pressing into the feet evenly. Exhale, we'll come down. So we'll do that 3 more times. On the inhale, lifting, squeezing the glutes, and finding evenness in the feet. Exhale to release. Nice, I like how he has a block there, keeping those knees drawing slightly in. The inner thighs are engaged. And then coming up for our final bridge, lifting up. We'll hold this time, finding that bind behind the back. So maybe rolling one shoulder blade in at a time, maybe finding those hands behind the tailbone and binding them together, pressing the hands down into the mat. Now find those inner thighs, hug them in slightly. He's doing a supported bridge here, bringing that block under the tailbone. That's also an option. Come down when you're ready. We'll do about 2 or 3 more breaths. Finding openness in the heart, finding peace within ourselves, inviting that in. When we're ready, we'll make our way down. Waiting until the spine is neutral before bringing those knees back to chest. We'll give them a squeeze, bring those knees in. Beautiful, guys. And then let's go and start to come to sit. So either rocking and rolling on the spine or coming onto one side. We'll find the sweetest, easiest way to sit, and we'll come into our forward fold. So if we have a blanket handy, grabbing onto that blanket, find the sit bones with the blanket or not. And we'll bring the legs straight. So we'll find our straight forward fold, hands by the hips. We'll come into our Dandasana, staff pose. Roll the shoulders back onto the back, heart open, long spine. So draw the tailbone down, reach the heart up. And let's firm the thighs. So we'll activate the legs now, flex the feet back. Everything's working really great for the posture, especially if you're usually hunched. Keep that heart open, keep rolling the shoulders back. So we'll keep this long, strong posture as we start to lift. Reaching up. Exhale, reaching forward. Trying to keep that long spine, so we might not go down as much as we're used to. We'll keep working with the breath. Wherever our hands land, start to pull those elbows out as we exhale. Bring the chin towards the shins, heart towards the toes. We'll just do a few breaths using the exhale to go down, deeper each time as you find more space. Keep pulling the elbows out. And then on the next exhale, let's totally release. We can start to bend the knees, round the spine. We'll just drop all the way in. I like to call this ragdoll pose. So maybe releasing the hands. And we'll just let ourselves fall all the way in. Feeling the back of the body just totally release and open now. Releasing the jaw, the face. Softening the heart. One more deep breath into the back of the body. And then on the inhale, we'll start to lengthen. We'll do one more straight forward fold. Wherever our hands land, pulling those elbows out, straight spine, straight legs. Maybe going down a little bit deeper this time. Now we have a little bit more space there. And then inhale, we'll start to reach up. Exhale to the heart. Do one more forward fold variation. We'll come wide. So bringing our legs nice and wide. You guys can turn on the mats if you want, turning towards each other. That's more comfortable. So we'll find our sit bones. Let's find our tall spine first, reaching out. Reaching through the fingertips. Let's turn the palms up and we'll feel a nice little shoulder stretch. Reaching up, overhead, big stretch. Exhale to the heart. And then we'll bring our left hand to the left, right hand up overhead. Using that exhale. Pinky fingertip guides you over. So we'll keep opening your heart to the sky. Keep twisting up as you're bringing that pinky fingertip over. One more deep breath. It's really great if you have low back pain. This will start to relieve that in your body. And we'll start to twist towards our leg now. So dropping the heart down towards the floor. We'll take a few deep breaths into this left side with love. Softening the heart. Softening the face and the jaw. So just noticing where we're holding our tension. And just sweetly letting it go. One more deep breath on this side. Maybe lengthening a little bit more. Maybe letting go just a little bit more. And then we'll start to twist back to where we were. Twist up. And back to center. Exhale. To the other side. Inhale. Opening. Pinky fingertip guides us over. And we're breathing, lifting, lengthening with that breath, using that exhale to go down. We're twisting the heart to the sky for these first few breaths. Opening up that lower back. It's actually the side of our back, the quadratus lumborum. Really great stretch for every day. We'll start to turn the heart towards that leg. Folding in. And connecting with that side. And noticing maybe there's a difference between the two sides or not. And just using our breath to find space. Using our breath to find those places we're still holding on. And just letting go. Start to twist the heart to sky. Inhale. Exhale. Coming back to center. Hands to heart. We'll bring the hands behind the knees. We'll bring the knees in. For our bound angle pose, once more lifting, one more forward fold, folding forward, letting the knees drop out. We can let the feet open up like a book. And just giving ourselves a sweet smile. Inviting in joy to our heart, to our hips. Noticing that as we open the lower body, we're opening the upper body. Everything in the body is connected. So as you soften your heart, you start to make space in the hips. And as you soften your hips, you make space in the heart. One more deep breath. With gratitude, maybe using an exhale to go down a little bit more. And come on up. And we'll come on to our backs. Bring your hands to knees. We'll come onto our backs. Once more, if you want to do a couple of rolls on the spine, head to tail, that feels good. We'll meet with our knees to chest. And we'll get into our hip stretch. Bring our right ankle to our left knee, thread the needle. Grabbing behind that right leg, hugging it in, that left leg. And breathing. Communicating with that right hip, letting that right knee drop away. Maybe a couple circles with the knees if you'd like to create some movement. So we're building a relationship with ourselves, a relationship with our body. Our body has its own intelligence. So as we quiet the mind, we can start to listen to those prompts from the body. Let's go ahead and cross that leg on top all the way over. And we'll give ourselves a squeeze with our legs crossed. Yeah. So we're crossing that top leg all the way over, and we'll draw those knees to chest with our legs crossed. Beautiful. So now we're going a little bit deeper into that hip. Nice. And we're thinking the same thing. We're trying to square our hips. Maybe creating some circles with the knees. If you want to add in a little extra massage. And just send love, send light into your hips. Maybe just a little assurance. It's okay. You can relax now. It's okay. And then releasing the feet to the floor. You can uncross the legs and straighten them out on the floor. We'll just shake them out in between and let go of all that hip work. Let them reset. And then we'll come on over to the other side. Feet to floor. Left ankle, right knee. Grabbing behind that right leg. And hugging it in. So we're letting that knee, that left knee drop away from us. Maybe flexing that top foot that'll protect our knee. And yeah, like Guy, if you want to do a couple of those circles with the knees, adding a little extra massage, that feels really good. We're just exploring ourselves here. The journey to the self. And then when we're ready, we can cross that leg all the way over. So sliding that left leg all the way on top and going even deeper into our hips, hugging the knees in like an old friend. And having a little conversation with our hips. How's it going today? Getting to know ourselves, getting to know our bodies with compassion. Maybe adding in a couple of those circles if you want to add an extra massage, extra movement. And then when we're ready, bringing the feet to floor, uncrossing the legs, straightening them out, and shaking them out. Ooh. All right, so we'll find our final twist. Bringing our right knee into chest, we'll give ourselves a squeeze. We'll firm that left leg. So let's firm left leg to the mat, flexing through that left foot, and really squeeze that right leg in tighter, like really tight. Beautiful. You can do a couple of ankle circles, letting go of the energy in that right foot. Thank you, foot. You're awesome. Couple circles in that right hip, bringing the knee in and out, away from the body and towards the body. Nice, guys. And then when we're ready for that twist, we'll bring that knee all the way across to the left, hands in a cactus or T. Looking the opposite of our leg, full spinal twist. Looking over here. 2 more deep breaths. All the way up that side. Using that exhale, let that hip drop down and away from the body. 1 more deep breath. Up that side. Use that exhale to twist. Let that shoulder go towards the floor. Soften even deeper. And then on the inhale, coming back to center. We'll come into a half happy baby. So grabbing onto that right, behind that right leg, ankle, or outside edge of the foot. We'll rock side to side in that right leg. Other leggy. Same leg. Half happy baby. Drawing that knee down. Rocking side to side. That's it. Nice. So giving ourselves that same love and attention that we would give a baby. And then switching it up, releasing that leg, shaking it out on the mat. We'll come on over to the other side. When we're ready, drawing that left knee in. We'll start flexing the right leg, pressing the leg down, flexing through that left foot, hugging that knee in. Starting in that left foot, so we'll start with that ankle roll, releasing the energy in that foot. Lots of energy in this leggy. In that hip, bringing that knee in and away. That's it. And then coming into that twist. When we're ready, letting the knee drop all the way over. Hands into cactus or T. Got 3 deep breaths here. Letting the energy come up to that shoulder. Use that exhale to soften even deeper. One more deep breath. All the way up to the top. Use that exhale to release and soften. And then we'll start to come back to the center when we're ready, inhaling back. We'll come into a half happy baby, grabbing behind that left leg, left ankle or left outside edge of the foot, rocking side to side. So we're giving ourselves the same love and attention that we would give a baby, that same care. And then you can start to straighten the legs on the mat, shaking them out, turn the palms up to the sky. We'll bring the fingers together, first finger and thumb together, and a mudra. Inviting in freedom, inviting in love. We'll do a body scan here, starting with the bottoms of the feet. Surrounding our feet with love and light. Bring our awareness into our ankles. Let the ankles relax. Bringing our awareness into our calves and shins. Let them relax now. Bringing our awareness into our knees, into the front of the legs, the back of the legs. We'll just let them release and relax now. Bringing the awareness into the hips, into the low belly. We'll let the low belly soften now. Bringing our awareness into our upper belly. We'll imagine our solar plexus shining like the sun. Bring our awareness into our heart. We'll let that open and soften now, letting the shoulder blades tuck into the back. Shoulders relax away from the ears. Bring our awareness into our throat and our shoulders. We'll let them relax. Bring our awareness into our arms, forearms. Each finger relaxes. Bring our awareness into our jaw, maybe just a small gap in the lips. Bring our awareness into our third eye, the space between the eyes. We'll let that relax and open now. All the way up to the crown of the head. We'll let an energy funnel open to receive divine energy, divine wisdom from our higher self. Our energy spills out onto the floor and sinks down, deeper down into the earth. Gradually, start to deepen your breath. Slowly coming back. We'll wiggle the fingers and toes. And when we're ready, we'll do a big stretch overhead. Waking up the body. And when we're done, bringing one knee in at a time to the chest. We'll give ourselves a big squeeze. Big hug, big love, forehead to knees. And then when we're ready, rocking and rolling over to one side. We could stay there for a moment on our side. Just feeling the curve of the spine, the connection with the earth, with ourselves, and with each other. When you're ready, take your time. We'll use our top hand to press ourselves up, making our way to a seated position, perhaps grabbing onto something to sit on if we have something handy. We can come into bound angle pose or cross-legged pose. Bring our hands to our knees, grounding down. Feeling our heart space opening. We'll bring our hands now to our heart, bowing down to our higher self, to our inner guru, knowing that we are energy. And where we place our energy, where we set our intention, is where we will go, is where we will flow. So setting that intention now to invite in love into the heart, into the body, so that you might share that with others. Bring our hands now to our forehead, clear and loving thought. Hands to the lips, clear and loving speech. Hands back home to the heart, clear and loving intention. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all creatures, may all beings be happy and free. So sending love and light to all beings, to all creatures now, including yourself. The love and light in me acknowledges and honors the love and light in you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for teaching me. Namaste.